This club's not just for some. All friends, one family, together we are one.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, boy.
We're still alive. Look, my name's Ethan, if you've forgotten.
Did you miss us?
Yeah, what, two and a bit months later?
We literally
FHTV.
we literally got at least one message asking where we were.
One.
So,
At least one.
Just at least one.
Yeah.
At least
And it
one.
might have been from one of the club directors asking where we're going to do it again.
Yeah, FHTV, really definitely not weekly anymore. Episode 17.
FHTV sporadically.
17,
Yeah,
18?
17.
Whatever.
We're 17. We're not too
17.
bad. I didn't think we'd do 17 when we started, so
Yeah, look, nearly fully fledged adults.
nearly as many games as last year, like, so
Yeah.
There you go.
Does that count as a full season? Ask Patrick.
it's
And we're back off to a flyer, right? Not a lot's happened the last 2 months. A couple of
Quite a
games,
lot.
bit of football, results, all that. Nigel, what are we going to do today?
nearly needed like an entire copybook to write out the what we've missed, but we a brief recap on the games that were played. I suppose we went through that cup run and sort of a yo-yo form in the league as well.
We'll go one of them.
We'll go through all of that, the ups and downs. Anyway, the coinciding with the return of FHTV, the return of supporters, and subsequently, after a few games, the return of away fans as well, which is pretty cool. We have new shirt sponsor. Not that they're new anymore, but
Yeah, shows everyone and their dog knows who they are. But yeah, it's
and
Guild.
the academy season has come to an end as of this weekend as well, and a wee bit of silverware for the wee harps, and we'll go through that as well with Ben, and we're going to talk ahead of the final game of the season, the biggest of the season, kind of the crunch game against Longford this Friday night. So there you go. Out of breath after that now.
Oh, I know.
Kinnegar and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Kinnegar.
Kinnegar flag that is up there. Yes. Thanks to Kinnegar. They have been very, very good with us this year. And as sort of the season draws to a close, it's kind of nice to acknowledge that they've stuck by us, even though how sporadic that has been to us. But no, a big shout to Tommy and Sean and all the cool people at Kinnegar we've met through the year, and hopefully it won't be the last time we hear from them either. So
oh, I'll tell you what, we might need a few of them come Friday. Right. What are we gonna do about results? We just talked generally about some of the comebacks and Sean Boyd against Dundalk and all the really, really great moments we've had. Or do you want to give any kind of list or rundown?
There's no point in kind of listing them out. Everyone can Google that for themselves. But the look,
Just go by month, maybe.
There was
October.
Well, there was a couple of notable games, I suppose, through it. Obviously the kind of weird cup run against Dundalk there. That, as you say, Sean Boyd made a bit of a hero of himself in Finn Park.
Remember those times?
What a moment!
That was probably right up there with one of the moments of the season. To be fair,
it has to be, if you consider there was a
we're
great
dead and buried with like 5 minutes left in the game.
And a game that you'd watched, and you kind of felt half the time you're like, if we had 11 men, we're winning this handy. You know what I mean? Having been 1-0 up and stuff, and then the first goal, and you're thinking, oh, we got one back, but surely not. There's not the
consolation, and then like half the crowd leaving the ground as well, going into stoppage time, and up pops the man himself with the most outrageous first touch.
Yeah, but the scenes behind on the terrace then too. We kind of just had fans back for a couple of weeks.
That's right. Yeah,
and
2,000
You-
people in
it,
that night. Yeah.
it was really like, like welcome football's back. Do you know what I mean? In a lot of ways, it was
Yeah.
just unbelievable. When, kids running on the pitch. Some of the photos of, or the videos of Webby,
Yeah, Webby
with
telling
them to
everyone
come
that-
on.
Telling them to get
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
come on, get on the pitch. It just really, it reminds you of what you've kind of missed, the last 18 months, 2 years, whatever, but also just so nice to have it back.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But that quickly turned very sour a few days ago, or a few days later, when we went back to Oriel Park. We had a big away crowd even in that night as well. That was one thing that was very, very welcome back. The return of the away bus, the away crowds. There was 200-300 Harps fans in there that night in Oriel Park, and
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
atmosphere was superb. The result didn't go our way, but you'll get that against Dundalk, or a battle-hardened side in cup games. So you win some, you lose
There's
some.
also
Really,
never a penalty. But that's beside the point.
still
Someone had
bitter.
Someone had to mention it.
Yeah, but no, look, that and the kind of thing, extra time ran out of gas, and that but the fight never kind of left, and we've seen that in the games that have come. We've had a few games where even the Bows game after, where you'd have excused the lads that they've been kind of tired and weary after an extra time shift on the Tuesday night, but going and beating Bows and Dalymount again, as 2 years in a row, having not done it for 20 odd.
Yeah, yeah.
There's are you talking moments of the season? That was a massive one. We've had the comeback against Sligo a couple of weeks ago. Again, like dead and buried with 5 minutes left, and again kind of clutching something from the kind of jaws of defeat after another red card. Getting a few of them these days, but I don't point going into results as a whole, but just we can look back on most of the season now. We've only got one game left, and just so many great kind of moments and little bits and pieces that you'll kind of carry with you regardless.
I have to say, I did enjoy that game in Dalymount, and not even just for the result. The crack that was there that night, like as you say, it's got to a point now where you're thinking football really is back when you have even just banter with the home crowd in Dalymount that night, because like they obviously oversold their home end, and it like piled into the away.
Got some spillage.
Yeah, a little bit of spillage, and a few of the locals find themselves accustomed to we say the crack with Harps fans anyway.
The Dublin Supporters Club and Wellington, and yeah, even you said that, and even Friday just gone, and in Shakur as well, and other great away support, and
Absolutely, yeah.
kind of a really kind of tight ground, and there was plenty of noise, plenty of crack had, and that's fundamentally what it's all about.
Absolutely. I had my 2 young lads down at Inchicore who learned the ways of Ethan. We'll say that much anyway. Ethan who had a few shandies before the match, and my 2 young lads, they went away asking questions anyway. We'll put it that way.
I woke up with questions too.
But it was great. Like even for me, just even look, that's the first game I was able to bring them to in 2 years. Feeling even slightly uncomfortable still bringing them out to games for the last number of months, but then just the opportunity to take them away for their first away trip as well. They've been in 10 or 12 games in Finn Park over the years, but to be able to bring them away and get the experience of another ground and a good atmosphere and big crowd, it was great for them as well. And and you've seen it even in the last couple of weeks, the Pats game, the Shamrock Rovers game as well in Tala. It obviously didn't go our way, but there was a big away following in Tala that night as well, and a lot of kids going to their first Harps games.
Yeah,
definitely. It's brilliant to see, and even now I was seeing with the home games, the amount of kids that are in at the minute now is magic. It's fantastic to see it, because it's something we missed out for years. Just there was a big generational gap for Harps following there in between like 2000 and 2010, 2010 and 2020 even, like there was a big generational gap there, and to see droves of kids coming into the grounds now, it's brilliant. Long may it last.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to not only the kind of work by the volunteers of the club and that kind of thing, but also the team. They want to come and see and get a picture with Tunde after the game, or Webby or Mark Coyle or whoever else. Like they're that these are their heroes, whereas you might not have seen much of that for a while. So like you said, you see kids packing Finn Park, right up against the wall, really mad for it, and chanting and getting in behind the team, and that's someone that's I was classed as a younger Finn Harps fan. I'm 26. Do you know what I mean? So,
Exactly, yeah.
so it's nice to know that I'll not be the youngest one on the bus in a few years.
Oh, aye. But no, look, we're kind of down to squeaky bum
Ben, you're
time.
muted. Sorry, tear away, Nigel. Sorry, Ben was muted there. I think.
I think Ben's just been very quiet. He's enjoying. Oh, there was a wee click from Ben.
There you go. Yeah.
Ah, now we're sucking diesel.
No, just to touch on that, on the young supporters and all that. I think there's a place for that in the academy has something to do with that as well, because there's so many
course.
academy players and national league players coming week in, week out from all over the county to watch the senior games. Because that's their aspirations or their dreams to play, Premier Division, League of Ireland one day, or to be a part of the club and all that. And there's so many players coming in every week, so it's great to see them coming in with all their full blue, all harps gear and all that, bringing their friends in. It's great to see.
Fantastic. Anyway, we're down to squeaky bum time, I suppose. Results have been very up and down lately. Obviously, heavy defeats to Waterford and Shamrock Rovers left us in a bit of a slump. Late comeback against Sligo again. Probably drop points in places. Drogheda, Derry, but again, fighting for every point, and every point is absolutely counting at this stage. And another probably, I don't know, could you say it, drop points in Inchicore? There was chances there, but
Maybe I think but you also would have taken a draw going
Yeah.
going away.
yeah, well, look,
Coming in, you
yeah.
would have taken a draw.
Yeah, you're up
No,
against
I
second
can
place
see
in the
both
league.
sides. Yeah,
You're coming up against second place in the league.
Second in the league, good form, something to play for. They're trying to solidify that European spot as well,
Yeah. So another team that's we're actually facing them now this Friday, but they done us a bit of a favor there on Saturday night. Longford against Waterford. It was a tight enough watch for
It's
the
a tough watch.
Hearts.
It was a tough watch, alright.
It's for the Hearts fans tuning in, but look, it's right down to the final game.
Yeah, and we've all notably never said a bad word about the Midlands. So, I'm really glad I can kind of stand over that now after that favour.
Well, look, my mother's from the Midlands, so I have nothing bad to say about the area, even though I
Even
quite like.
even though
I don't quite like, but
Do we want to maybe talk about the sponsor and the academy and then end with the Longford chat?
Yes, absolutely. Big new sponsor unveiled recently.
Yeah, probably
a few weeks back, yeah.
about 6 weeks ago at this stage, or thereabouts, and it was a long time in the running, between Aidan Campbell and Claire McCahill and a few others. Really,
And yourself.
well, look, I'll
Take your credit. Take your credit.
Look, I'm just really kind of proud that it was able to kind of be pulled off, and it was a long process, probably about 6 months or so between emails and Zoom calls and whatever else. And it's just really exciting for the club, I think, for also, like we've said, about the kind of the younger audience coming to Finn Park and that sort of thing, but also, kind of the creativity Guild can bring and a new audience and their commitment to the kind of supporting the community story too. It's not just putting a logo on a jersey because it's in FIFA. It's much deeper than that. We're going to have a few people from Guild over now on Friday night, which would be great to kind of welcome them and, hopefully people, makes them feel welcome and chat away to them. They're really nice people. And it's, a kind of proof of where we're going as a club. I think that we can pull off something like this, which is really, kind of unheard of in many ways.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. As you say, great testament to everyone who worked behind the scenes. Big shout, obviously, to yourself and to Aidan Campbell and to Claire, who put in a massive shift to see this over the line. It's huge for the club in you can't even just look at a sponsorship now as a purely financial thing. It's great to get a financial boost to the club. It's great to secure a fairly major sponsor for us, but it's, as you say, what they bring to the table and what we bring to the table for them as well. The connection between the two. As you say, the big community aspect of it. The idea that they'll get really in behind what we're doing as a community club, as a fan-owned club. It's massive potentially for the club going forward. And then with the esports market becoming such a huge thing, online FIFA for us is obviously the big target there. As a football club, but even you look at what Guild do as a whole. Valorant. They play Rocket League. They play all sorts of stuff. And it's fantastic to see. Obviously, I would have been aware of who Guild were before it, because I'm well into games as well. But to see how in depth they go into it as well is massive. And I think it's something that, as a club, that we can really benefit off as well, because the online market is obviously where you're targeting now, and these are experts in it. So it could be massive for the club potentially going forward.
Yeah, it's not just a sponsor. I mean, it's people with maybe a similar kind of set of values, and they're looking to compete at the best in their own field. It's not just like a name on a jersey, like I said. So it's really exciting for the club, and no, I'm looking forward to having a few of them over now on Friday, and hopefully all things go well.
Yeah, and the logo
And
looks great in the
celebration.
jersey. So
Yeah, no, that definitely helps.
um,
Speaking of
so
kind of maybe looking to win things and stuff, the academy
yes,
is a great weekend had.
Great
yeah,
weekend indeed. So the 14s and 15s went to Athlone for cup finals there on Saturday. The 14s beating Wexford, Wexford at extra time from a in penalty shootout. 1-1 at the final whistle with a Carragher Friel goal. Great penalty shootout.
yeah.
Well done to everyone involved. Following that, the 15s played Cork City, beating them 2-0 from Shawnee Bradley.
Shawnee got one, yeah.
Shawnee
yeah.
Bradley and Brendan McLaughlin.
Brandon McLaughlin, yeah.
Yeah,
got the other,
so yeah, the 15s beat Cork City following that game with Brendan McLaughlin and Shawnee Bradley getting on the score sheet. Well done to everyone involved. Again, great achievement for both squads. It's been a long time coming and a long season for them, with a lot of games between the three competitions, as they were both up for semi-finals as well in the league competition. So very good. Well done to everyone
Big
involved.
shout to Eamon and Kevin and all their coaching staff as well, putting big hours with them.
Yeah, and the families too. It's
Absolutely,
not
yeah.
an easy commitment.
Massive
And
commitment.
even I want to just say, and we kind of maybe give out about some of the things the league does and LOI TV and their kind of failings and stuff. But I haven't gotten to see many academy games because I live in Dublin. But I thoroughly enjoyed being able to sit and watch both those games on LOI
Yeah.
TV at a really high standard production.
Very
Two
good,
commentators, multiple cameras. It was a fantastic display and shows the commitment to kind of the underage structure and what they want to do with it and showcase it. And I know many Harps fans up and down the country and abroad were loving to kind of tune in and watch the wee Harps get glory.
Yeah, I seen our Trevor sitting in the airport on his way to Luxembourg was watching it as well. So
Yeah.
as we've seen the Harps flag behind the net in Luxembourg last night too.
Yeah, it was
So,
a big commitment from the league, and fair play to them, to show their commitment to underage football. And
yeah.
fair play, as Ethan said, it was a good production value to it and looked the part. On top of them, those two squads, 17s, have finished a couple of weeks now, and well done to them for a difficult year, shall we say.
So 19s as well, yeah.
Yeah, 19s also finished their season there, losing 5-2 to Waterford after a long season as well with the Ulster Senior League, where most of them, if not all of them, have played in, as well as the 17s. So it's
Yeah.
been
Quick note on the 19s as well. A massive moment of sporting goodness from them as well in Waterford yesterday, or
from the
in
game.
in Oriel Park, I should say, where one of the Waterford players took a serious head injury and had to be carried off in an ambulance. And instead of going back to play the last few minutes in the pitch, Harps conceded the game. Just a nice moment of good sporting
Sportsmanship.
good sporting behavior there. So
Hmm.
congratulations to them for that there, and a speedy recovery to the Waterford player.
Yeah. Again, well done for the 19s for the whole season. Again, it's been a tough one to play Wednesday as well as weekend. So fair play to all the players as well as Stephen McNutt and Desi McGlinchey, the coaches, as well as the players who made debuts or even just were on the team sheet, which is a big deal. The likes of Paddy McGarvey, Stephen Black, Connor Black, Luke Rudden, who played a few minutes here and there, and Nathan Logue as well, who came on
Yeah.
as subs in a few games. Fair play to everyone who. And who am
Sean
I forgetting?
Kerrigan,
Sean Kerrigan, who's now
who
in the
signed,
US
who went off on a scholarship
and
after
doing
getting
very
into
well apparently. So fair play to Sean.
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
it's
well
great.
done to all of them.
It's great to see the pathway in action there.
Exactly.
There's not a huge amount of minutes for some of them players, but there's great experience being around the squad there. Obviously, Luke Rudden, Nathan Logue, Joe Bradley Walsh, Stephen Doherty, Paddy McGarvey, Jamie Brown. All these lads have all made appearances this year. Some of them have gone off on loan or headed off to pastures new, if you like. But the pathway is definitely there for them. Even being around a lot of these lads are, people wouldn't see it, but there's 7, 8 of them in training regularly with the
With
first team.
seniors, yeah.
Ollie is taking them in. He's taking in some of the 17s as well into training. And it's great for these lads to see the step that they need to make.
Yeah, you can see the pathway as well in the Ulster Senior League with our under 21s, where I think a couple of weeks ago we basically had a mix of first team players, 19s and 17s. So I mean, that kind of mix be beneficial for everyone involved. So
yeah, and even you mentioned that, even just going back to the kind of cup wins of the weekend, there was a great photo doing the rounds of Mark Coyle and his brother who plays on the 15s, I think.
Yeah, Dara. Yeah.
Dara Coyle,
yeah, kind of with the cup after the 15s big one, and that's kind of great to see too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's lovely to see it. Even the likes of Dara Coyle there, who'll be able to see exactly what his brother's at and what it takes, the commitment it takes as well. It's just great for him, and it's great for him to, it's great for the club to have a senior player there while the young lads are lifting the trophy as well. So
and when you look at that, I mean, we were in two finals when we're kind of competing up here with two other clubs, with Derry and Sligo in kind of the same talent pool, if you will. So it's not, you do need to emphasize how big of a deal that is.
yeah, that's only 2 League of Ireland clubs, so you have the Irish League clubs as well to compete with.
Exactly. Yeah,
institutes there, Derg Views there, even Strabane Athletic. Are
Yep.
looking to make the step into the Irish League now as well. So there's,
Yep.
it's the pool of players up here is not massive. So
it's very competitive. Yeah.
Yeah. To see them getting into national finals and winning them.
Yeah.
Even to see the 19s progressing through the Shield competition as well. It's massive.
A big achievement. Yeah.
It's a big achievement. Big achievement. So.
Yeah. So yeah, well done to everyone. Now that the season's over, it's been a different one. But yeah,
and it all starts again for them soon.
Exactly. Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see who makes it and who doesn't, and we wish everyone, the best in their future endeavors.
Yeah. So anyway, Longford, massive,
big one, huge,
big game,
enormous, wild big.
Expecting
wild
packed
big
house. Expecting a packed house as well for this.
I expect a full house,
yeah.
And if you're going, bring your brother, bring your granny, bring your friend.
But buy
Get
tickets
like,
first.
Buy tickets.
well, I,
Don't just
I,
turn
I
up.
buy tickets, but get behind the team that this
Yeah.
a massive crowd, like a big crowd roaring on the lads can make all the difference.
It makes such a big difference.
You've seen the kind of some of the late comebacks at Finn Park this year have been spurred
Yeah.
on by the roar of the crowd. The last 10 minutes when you're chasing a goal or two has been outrageous, definitely nearly, and that was even
Yeah.
back when you only had 800 in, when that was the limit. Never mind now, we've had kind of great crowds in the last couple of weeks, but you can't kind of overstate the difference it makes. It'll really kind of be a big boost.
Yeah, massive. The roar of the crowd, the Finn Park roar has been there for years and years. It's the players themselves will reference it.
Yeah.
Whether it's in an interview after the game or just chatting to you after the game, or whether they're in the dressing room themselves. I'm fully aware that the players have mentioned it between themselves in the dressing room. Ollie has mentioned the fans getting behind the players
Yeah.
in the
So many
dressing room.
times, yeah.
This is not just something you just say just to drum up a bit of support. This is genuine, that Ollie talks about it to the players. The
Yeah.
players talk about it themselves, and they talk about it to us afterwards as well. Whenever we're doing an interview or something, the reward really makes a massive difference. Even if you're just getting into the ground and chanting Finn Harps over and over again, they hear you and it drives them on. It's mind fuel, if you like.
No, it's definitely works on the psychological kind of aspect of it. It's massive to have that backing and to have that support from everyone involved. So it definitely gives them the extra percentages for that performance. To draw on that little extra that we need.
Yeah,
But then,
and the big thing coming into Friday as well is that it's the results in our own hands. It's
yes,
we won't be there having to be checking what's going on in this game and that game. We'll be going in knowing that if we win, we'll stay up, and that's something that maybe for a few days there we weren't sure that'd be the case.
yeah,
So there'll be maybe a bit of nerves, and it is it's a massive game, but you're just knowing that if you'd probably been told a couple of weeks ago, if you'd been told if you can win on the last day, you'll stay up, you'd have taken it.
yeah. Well, look, we all know this side is good enough. This side is good enough to be up, challenging higher in the league if they wanted as well. There's no reason we can't go out there and do it. But look, anything happens in 90 minutes. It's it cannot be understated how big this game is for the club as a whole. And the fact that we may potentially be missing one or two players, it adds an extra dimension to it too. That we're not sure the condition of Mark McGinley, for instance, after coming off the other night. Cos Versadiki is going to be missing after sending off in Pats. That's two key players immediately.
Big misses, yeah.
Obviously Tunde was sat out in Pats because he was sitting on a yellow card. You have to mind things as well. You're hoping that he is in full flight, on fire. He'll be coming straight in. You'd expect for Sean Boyd, who'll be missing through suspension.
He's been on good form as well.
Yeah. Sean Boyd has been in very good form lately. He's up to 8 goals, I think, now for the season.
Yeah, I think so.
8?
So,
7.
8.
Could be 8, yeah.
8 goals for the season now, which is, it's a great return as well for him. We were looking at our top scorer last year with 4 goals. I know it was obviously half a season, but to come in as
three strikers knocking on the door of 10.
Yeah. Well, look, Sean has kind of bided his time. He's 10 starts, I think, is all he got this year, and 8 goals in return of that. So, fair play to him. Like,
works hard, that's for sure.
Obviously he a bit of moment of madness against Drogheda, but was big enough to come out and talk to us afterwards. Fair play to him.
Requested to talk to us.
Requested to come over and speak to us. To apologize to the fans, which there's not many players in football who do that.
That's very big. Yeah.
They're all you see, even Premier League players, all international players. They've come on and throw out their little
Do an
spiel
Instagram
on
post.
Instagram
Little
or Twitter, you know,
Instagram
but
story for that, yeah.
they won't face the players. You know,
Yeah.
massive top marks to Sean for coming out and requesting to say it on video out in front of, you know, putting himself right out there in the public eye to say, I'm sorry for that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
fair play to him. So,
Yeah. Here, look, we've kind of been on a while.
yeah, we're rambling here now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Friday, massive. Buy tickets
Be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
and be loud.
Yeah. Be there. Be
Yeah.
loud.
All of the above.
Game.
So,
Right.
yeah.
All right.
Probably back next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks to Kinnegar. Thanks to Kinnegar as always. Enjoy yourselves. Safe trip.
See you
And
Friday.
we'll see you Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Good luck.